Hello, and welcome to the Daily Creative Challenge number 3. My name is Julia Masalska. I'm your host for these 2 weeks. How's everybody doing in the chat? I saw lovely faces here. Susan and Nicolette and Katyuska is joining, and Nick is here. Megan, Ava, awesome. Let me know where you all are tuning in from. And Gus is here. Hi. So today we're going to be working on some packaging design, so I'm super excited about that. We are going to be making some ice cream packaging. So I'm super excited about that. Thanks Wudoval for sending in the Discord links. Now, let me share that one with you. I think first things first, if you're new here, if you haven't been here before, which most of you have, but if you're just joining us on YouTube, by the way, head over to be.net and also join our Discord community on bit.ly/AI Discord. This is where you can participate in the Daily Creative Challenge, and this is where you can also submit your Daily Creative Challenge. So friends, very, very exciting packaging design. Who of you have ever designed a packaging? I would love to know that. And in the meantime, I'm going to share my screen here and we're going to go take a look at the behance.net/challenge/illustrator page. This is where you can get to know about the daily creative challenges and also see every single day a new challenge unlock. And just a little secret, before each stream, you can already access the starter files and download them and prep for the stream. Maybe you can already land some designs even before I explain the challenge. So there's always time to experiment even before the streams. And today's challenge is going to be about designing the packaging for ice cream using clipping masks to play with objects and space. Ooh, how fun! All right, when you click get started right here, you'll be able to access the starter file that I've prepared for you. And once you're done, export your file and submit it into the challenge right here in our Discord. And we have some designs from yesterday, and I love how you guys are working on this and using the assets and creating your own. So really, really exciting. Look at these colors. It looks so awesome. I love these pastel yellow and blue here. This one is by YM. We also have a couple other designs submitted by Bone54, for example, Creamy by Nature. I love the way you use that font here. Cool. And another one, totally swirly and colorful. Love it. Luna B also here with some posters. Yesterday we've been working on poster design, and today we're going to be doing packaging. How exciting. All right, so let's jump right into this. Once you've downloaded the starter file, it will look like this when you open it up. And once you go in here, sorry, I was working in XD earlier, and the zooming in in and out function is exactly opposite there. But anyway, so if you select any of these objects, you can move them around, you can adjust them, you can select and adjust the color the way you want. And by the way, these are the objects that I've created for you. And you can use them either in this project or any project you want. I'm giving you the rights to use these objects for any designs that you want. And I have created those, so I can give you basically the permission to use them. And so feel free to use those. And again, you can take those and just, copy and paste and place them into your design, adjust the color. So those are really cool, kind of also to combine together if you wish. Now, packaging design. Let's see who has designed for packaging. Stony saying secretly love Comic Sans. That's so funny. Vudaval, hi, good to see you. I may or may not have used Comic Sans. Awesome. Okay. All right. Cool. Gareth is saying I've created a package for a CD-ROM for my finals in computer science. That's awesome. Cool. Anika has packaging. That's good to know as well. Hi, Wudaval, good to see you too. All right, so let's jump right into this, and we are going to start thinking about the packaging that we're going to be designing. Is it going to be like a wrap on on a icicle, or is it going to be a cup? So feel free to think about the shape that you want to use for your ice cream packaging. So I'm going to suggest you some. Here, let's say if you're using the rectangle tool and pull out a rectangle, then use the direct selection tool. You can pull in, select the 2 points and pull them into the center. Holding shift, just pull them in a little bit and you will have the shape of your cup. All right, so we have an ice cream cup here. Then we can also have a cone, right? So we can also have a cone where we can completely pull this together, or we can just use a triangle tool right here on the left side where we have the rectangle. Just click on it and then use the polygon like that, but don't click away yet. Use your keyboard and the keys up and down to add or remove corners. How cool is that? Let me know if you knew that before, but don't let the mouse click go yet. We're going to create a triangle, and holding shift, I'm going to place it in an angle that we can use. Of course, we have to turn it around 180 degrees to turn it around and lock it every 45 degrees. You can hold shift. So again, I'm turning and I'm holding shift, and you can see it's locking every 45 degrees, which can help me being very precise in my design. All right, so we have the cone. Now, what else do we have? We also can make a packaging that's a rectangle, like a plastic wrap that goes around the icicle. And what we can do here is we can add some zigzags in the top and the bottom. You know how it's always cut off, and then there are little zigzags. So for that, we're going to use the zigzag. And for that, we're going to create a line right here. You can see we have the line element, and we're going to click and drag and to create a line. Now I'm going to make it black for now so we can see what I'm doing. And I'm going into Effect, Distort and Transform, Zigzag. Yay, we're gonna create some zigzags. And here you can adjust the amount of ridges per segment. We're gonna make a lot of them. And also you can increase or decrease the size. This looks pretty good to me. And you can also create a wavy line if you wanted to. So what do you think, corner or wavy? I think corner will be more classic, you know. It's the classic packaging cut. So I'm going to click OK. And now we have a line with a zigzag around it. Now what we want to do is we want to expand it. So we're going into Object, Expand Appearance. Now we actually have the path that goes along the zigzag line, which is what we want. Okay, now we're going to place it on top of this. And we're going to make a copy for the bottom as well. Holding Option and Shift, we're going to drag it down just like that. And make sure that the zigzag is inside the rectangle, because now we're going to use the divide tool and we're going to cut those triangles into the rectangle. Actually, let's leave a little bit of space here, top and bottom, so that we don't have to deal with small little rectangles that we have to remove. All right, so let's also make this a little wider so that Illustrator knows for sure where we want to cut and we don't leave anything behind. All right, so this is what it should look like for you right now. Now select all of these 3 objects, go into Properties. If you don't have the Properties panel pop up, go into Window and activate Properties, okay? So now we have all of these selected. We're going into the Pathfinder right here. And in the Pathfinder, we're going to click More Options. More options. We're going to click that, and then we're going to go on to divide right there. Okay, so now we have divided that rectangle and we have removed, basically we have cut those zigzaggy lines into the rectangle. Now we want to remove those 2 excess pieces that we won't need, and now we have this we're left with this really cool Bart looking shape. You know how Bart from The Simpsons has this like funny hair. It's like a zigzag too. Anyway, just reminded me of that. But for us, this is going to be our icicle packaging. So decide your shape that you want to use for your packaging, and I'm going to decide for this one. So I'm going to remove these by side right now. I'm not going to need those. And now let's create our icicle that we can see, you know, how it's going to fit into the packaging. I'm going to use the rectangle tool and I'm going to create something that kind of fits into my packaging, and I'm going to round the edges just a little bit, and then I'm going into direct selection, select only the top ones and round them just a little bit more, right? So this is the shape of an icicle. We have a way more rounder outline at the top and something that looks like rounded corners at the bottom. So this is our icicle, and we're going, of course, to create a stick for it, a wooden stick. So let's put it right here. And again, we're going to round all the edges. And this is going to be our icicle that we're going to put into the packaging. All right. So the icicle bottom maybe can stay, maybe we can make it another color, maybe like a pink. And the ice cream, let's maybe make it yellow. All right. So now if you're going to try to scale this up and down, you will have to make sure that the scaling options for your radius are so that the radius is being scaled with the object. And you can do that if you go into Object, Transform, Scale, and here you have all of these lovely options: scale corners or don't scale them, scale strokes and effects. But yeah, we are going to keep it all on so that everything scales with our object, okay? So make sure that everything is on. Now, actually, let's make this maybe the blue color. Let's see. Or maybe, I'm just experimenting here. So feel free to find the right colors for this. So I'm going to place that part on the top so it covers my little stick. So I'm going to right click, arrange, bring to front. There we go. So we have our icicle and we have our packaging. Now we will need to bring some shade into the packaging so it looks realistic, right? So I'm going to copy and paste this by holding Option and Shift. And now I'm going to create a gradient in here. That gradient was going to help me to create some shadow in my object. And for that, I'm using the gradient tool right here, or a shortcut G on your keyboard. And I'm going to do that. Let's see, why is it exactly not? Okay, we can also use that as the cutout shape. So let's just create a rectangle for our gradient, like so. And I'm applying a gradient here. Not sure why it doesn't work. This is funny. Okay, let's see. All right. Oh, okay, it's because I was on the outline. That's not what we want. So let's go back to our regular shape. Make sure to be on the fill when you select the gradient, okay? So select the fill, and that's when you will be able to apply the gradient, just like so. Let's see. There we go. So again, if you're in the properties panel, you will see the gradient options. And here we have the linear gradient, we have the radial gradient, and we also have the freeform gradient. For our purpose, we're going to be using a linear gradient, and the line should go horizontally like this. Now we're going to create another point for the gradient by simply clicking at, so when we are hovering over this line, we will see that we have a little like plus element appearing. So this is when we click, and this is when we are going to create another color. Now we want to make sure that the outside two colors are black and the inside color is going to be transparent. So we're going to select black and then transparent, and on the right side we're going to select black and full opacity. Perfect. And here we're going to select black and full opacity. Now we have these little points here that will determine how the gradient is distributed. We're going to pull them almost to the edge. Just a little bit of, of the black is left on the edges, and the rest is going to be just transparent, because we have created a gradient that goes from black through black through black, but the black in the center is transparent, and that's why it appears white to us. Now, of course, this kind of looks very harsh. So what we want to do is we want to select the gradient and use lower opacity. So here at the top, you will see we have the opacity settings for this gradient, and we're going to lower them to something that looks quite natural for a rounded shape. All right, let's see. Oh my gosh, the zooming in and out in XD is really confusing. But okay, so and then we can even go in and edit the gradient. So if we want to say, hey, you know what, let's move this just a little bit more to the edges to make this a little bit more sharp, and maybe even work on the opacity of our gradient. We can even increase it just a little bit to make it look like they are more sharp edges. Okay, this looks pretty good so far. Now, let's create a little cutout here. So we're going to take a rectangle tool and we're going to create a rectangle at the top. And it doesn't have to have no color. I just want to create those segments where the gradient is not there, okay? So I'm going to hold Option and Shift and create a copy of this. And now when we select all of those, we also have to make sure that they're on the same height. Okay, so we want to select the top rectangle, and the small ones, top and bottom. And then we're going to go here into our divide tool again, and we're going to divide the object into those parts. And we're going to click Command Shift and G to ungroup them. Right now, let's put them on the side so we can have a clear idea of what we're doing, okay? So the bottom one, we're going to remove the gradient and we're just going to make it black and very like low opacity. And the same thing we're going to do with the top part. We're going to remove the gradient. We can even use the eyedropper tool to select the same color as the top. Now we're going to select all of these objects, go into properties and make them almost transparent. This is going to give our packaging an effect of three-dimensionality, right? And we can still go in here and adjust the opacity for these and make it just a little bit darker, okay? And now the color for that, of course, has to be black too. Black is the shade, and we're going to make it almost, yeah, like that. Now look how cool and how realistic our mock-up looks. So let's put these designs, let's put this top design by selecting all these three shapes by side for now. And we're going to work on our colors in our packaging. So that's also going to be super fun. All right, so we're going to use, maybe we can create some shapes on the side for now. Okay, so let's use some of these designs from here. So I'm going to pull in this element. I'm going to turn it using the Shift button. I'm going to make it real large, like that, so it fills up all of our packaging. All right, and maybe I'm going to place some other elements on top, maybe this one. Let's see, I don't have them grouped, so we can select all of those or lock that one with Command and 2 and select all of these objects, all of these rectangles, click Command and G to group them. Interesting. Command and G. And now we can pull them over to our packaging. Okay, so here on the left, we have the design that we're going to put onto our popsicle, icicle design. Okay, so I'm going to select with the eyedropper, letter I on the keyboard, this pink color. And I'm going to make sure that my design, the pink design, is placed on the top. So I'm going to click Command Shift and square bracket closed. And I'm going to do that here. I'm going to create copies by holding Option and Shift just to create some interesting effect here. Now, let's add a background to this. I'm going to use a rectangle and place a rectangle right on top of this, and then right-click, Arrange, Send to Back. And that rectangle is going to have a different color. I'm going to use the eyedropper with the letter I, and it's going to be this sharp green. Now let's also change the color of these of this star element. We're going to change it to maybe, let's say, yellow or red or something like that. This should work. Okay, cool. Now what we're missing is our text. So how are we going to use text in this case? And I can just copy the Synthemask right here. If you don't have it active, make sure to click here into the character styles, go into Find More and look for Synthemask and activate it here. So if you click to Find More, you'll be able to find Synthemask in your fonts. Right now I'm going to copy and paste it, holding Option, into my design, place it on top so it's not covered by any objects by holding Command Shift and square bracket closed, or right click, arrange, send to bring to front. Okay, so now let's type in our "we scream for ice cream," or whatever you want your ice cream to be called. I'm going to put "we scream for ice cream." I thought it was a great slogan. We've been all kind of been using it. All right, that has to be the pink lemonade popsicle. Yeah. We scream for ice cream. There we go. All right. So, and then I'm going to make the leading lower. Something like that, maybe. We scream for ice cream. And then make it, what color should we make it? Maybe we can just keep it black and put it here. Something like that. We can also click Command Shift and O to outline it, and then we can kind of place it in really large here. Just remember that we will have to stay in this shape, so whatever we put here has to be visible there. Now, another thing that we can add, let me see if I can add any like color that will work. I think the blue is a little bit more calm. Yeah, that should work. Something like that. Just place things around until you see, it's well legible and it's also cool and interesting. So we're going to use the epitaph font by holding Option and just copying and pasting it into our design. Again, Command Shift and square bracket closed, or right click, arrange, bring to front to bring the text element to the front. And we're going to call this Strawberry Lemonade. Strawberry Lemonade. And maybe it's even on 2 lines, so I'm going to place it on the second line like that. Ooh, we have a lot of spacing between our lines, so we're going here into our leading again, and we can adjust the spacing here, and we can also change the paragraph to center aligned. There we go. How cool is that? Look, this is fun. This is so fun. Now the last step is, let me make this blue just like that one. Now the last step is we're going to use this shape to mask out our design, and for that we're going to right click, arrange, bring to front. The masking element always has to be on the top. It has to be the top element. So now I'm going to place it on top of my design, and I'm going to select all of this, and then I'm going to click on make clipping mask on the right, or I can also right click and click make clipping mask. There we go, and there we have our ice cream packaging. And now we're only going to put the shadows that we've created for 3-dimensionality on top. Right now they're at the bottom because we had placed the other shape on top. So we have to right click, arrange, bring to front. Cool. Now we have our super realistic looking mock-up, and we can go in and, you know, put it for presentation. Cool, I love that. Now we can even take our popsicle or icicle and then, you know, copy and paste it all over the place and put our design on top of this. You can also select all the objects and click Command and G to group them. Now your ice cream is going to be moving all at once, and we can even create copies of this, and we can make it look really fun on our little mock-up, right? So I would like for you to experiment and to see what you're going to come up with, and I would like for you to share your designs in on our Discord. I'm super excited to see what your ice cream packaging will look like. And this is basically how I create also my mock-ups for the things that I'm doing, right? I always like to bring in some shadow and to make it look 3-dimensional. So, oh my gosh, hopefully everybody is kind of following along. I know it's pretty hard. Feel free to rewatch this, but but it's fun, you know, just have fun with it. Have fun with it. And I'm also still adjusting my design. All right, so let's see. Make sure to distribute those evenly so they're not, you know, covering too much space, but also not too little. Okay, cool. So I think this looks great. You can also add a background color. So I can add a rectangle and then right click, arrange, send to back, and then I can make that any other color, maybe a red, maybe this beige. So yeah, I'm excited to see what you're gonna come up with. To export the file, go into File, Export, Export for Screens, and now you will be able to select your artboard and then click Export Artboard. I have already an artboard named that, so make sure to add a name, maybe ice cream packaging, and you can export it either as a PNG or a JPEG and export artboard. Now, what we want to do with that is we want to go into Discord and post our design. So my friends, I know this was a lot today, but I'm really, really hoping to see your design submissions. Feel free to rewatch this, and I'm so excited to see y'all tomorrow for challenge number 4. Have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.